Hey guys, this is Oracle Daphne. My name is Beth, and I'm back today to do your monthly tarot horoscope. This is for everyone with their ascendant, sun, or moon in the lovely Taurus. And I am back using my Shadowscapes deck. However, this is a new, fresh deck, so has new energy, and yeah, I'm really excited to use it. Thank you guys so much. Everybody's been so nice with all the comments. So if you watch some of my other videos that I just posted, maybe for sun or moon or something, and I really appreciate all the love and support and all the comments from everyone. So please keep in mind, these are I think of them as timeless videos. Yes, I'm recording this mid-April, and I'm intending that this video is really for May of 2019, but essentially, you know, you could be watching this later in time, and I do encourage people to go back and watch the video later in time. If you'd like to get a private reading with me, you can check out my website, oracledaphne.com. The link is going to be in the description box below. And please remember, guys, please send payments first before scheduling. People, you know, used to do it the opposite way. They'd want to find out when I'm available, and then they would send a payment. But essentially, I'm a lot faster at scheduling if I have a payment there first. So that's how I do it now. That's how I roll. But yeah, I appreciate all your support. So I am pretty much ready to go. Let me see what we get for you guys. Again, this is for May 2019 for Taurus. I actually feel like I'm reading for a fire sign, or some fire sign individuals who have very, very strong energy, or they're watching maybe for someone else, like they're a fire sign and they're watching for someone else. Specifically, I feel like I'm reading for a fire sign male. If you're a fire sign male and you have strong Taurus in your chart, that's who I feel like I'm reading for. But that's just what I'm seeing. That's the energy I'm picking up. It doesn't mean, you know, Taurus isn't watching. I definitely feel like there's some Tauruses watching. I feel like there's some really beautiful energy happening in the beginning of May. Now, it could be happening right around the time you're watching this also. Really, really beautiful energy, because we have the Eight of Cups, which is my favorite card in reverse, which is my favorite card in the deck, and the Queen of Pentacles, which I feel like is you, male or female, the Queen of Pentacles in the immediate future. Now, to have them there like this, I just feel like this is really strong energy about kind of going with the flow, being in a kind of flow. And people talk about, well, what is flow? It's not really forcing things. It's just allowing things to happen. I like to see this for Taurus, because Taurus can like, it's like they can wait to the last minute and then force it, you know. They can be very strong in what they're doing and want things to happen in their timing. I do feel like you are in a strong place of flow, though, so I don't feel like there's any kind of forcing happening. I just feel like it's very, you know, everything is as it should be. That's what I feel. Yeah. And I definitely feel like there's a lot of things going. I definitely feel like you've also come maybe out of a time where I feel like you've come out of a time of a pattern or a cycle, number one. Number two, I also feel like you may have come out of kind of like a whirlwind time, a time where things kind of were spinning. I'm getting really drawn to her like tail. Do you see all this spinning here? To me, this is an upward spiral, which I like to see very much for Taurus. Upward spirals are hard for everyone, I think, to make happen, because that means we have to plan ahead. That means we have to do things that aren't necessarily comfortable. What creates an upward spiral is leaving something even when it doesn't necessarily financially make sense, or leaving something when, you know, it's kind of not the right time, or doing things ahead. It's like, you know, what creates an upward spiral is things that make us grow, but and can be hard. They don't necessarily have to be hard, but in the end turn out better. And it's sort of like leaving, I feel like some of you are leaving an old pattern or old lifestyle behind, and it feels very comfortable where you're going. It feels like there's a lot of peace and harmony of where you're headed. And you're leaving maybe some harder times behind, or maybe you're leaving some sense of spinning or some sense of anxiety. I definitely feel like any of those of you who have anxiety, I feel like you're going to feel a lot more calmer. And it's interesting because, the sun is going to be in Taurus, for May. So I definitely feel like you are going to be kind of in your zone, and happy birthday, by the way. So I definitely feel like, that's really, really positive. I think maybe you were coming at a time where maybe you were a little bit all over the place. That's what I want to say. It feels like maybe you were, you had your hands in a whole bunch of different places, and it's like you're moving to into like a new phase or a new kind of zone where you have serious focus on, I want to say healthy self-focus on yourself. You're learning about yourself. It's spiritual growth. There's a strong element of spiritual growth. This is my favorite card. I want to tell you why. This is very important. It's my favorite card because it represents to me a time in my life where I needed to find what I would call home. I needed to find a place that I felt comfortable living in, with people around me that loved me, and it represents kind of potentially for some of you going home or going to a place that makes you feel that way, or being around people that make you feel that way. So maybe you haven't lived in a place for a period of time that makes you feel comfortable or like you're at home, but I feel like there's something about here, maybe having, either recently moved or gone to a place that just resonates with you. I definitely feel like there's something about resonating with a place that you're living or people around you. Home is not necessarily a place, but for this card, it represents a place for me. So, to me, this is karmic completion. Also, having reached this sort of next level. For those of you who are very spiritually developed, some of you may be psychic or mediums, but you have reached you're reaching another level. To me, this is the ascension process. So some of you are maybe just beginning, and others are, somewhere in the middle, and others are, like I said, more advanced. I definitely feel like there's something about music here. I wrote a poem once about being underwater, like how a fish kind of vibes being underwater. And I definitely feel like there's a strong music element here. Strong vibe about music, listening to music, maybe going to a concert, really vibing music at this time. I definitely see that. And that's guys and girls. I could talk about the Eight of Cups all day. The other thing, too, I want to say about the Eight of Cups, it does represent a starseed, or someone that feels, some people do get homesick. Starseeds get really homesick. Starseeds are souls that have incarnated into the Earth reincarnation cycle, but they're from another star system. They're from a different place. And so sometimes it can be challenging. The only challenge with the Eight of Cups, to me, it's a beautiful card. The only challenge can be for sometimes starseeds can feel lonely. They can feel a little bit more isolated, and they can feel like they want to go someplace that doesn't really exist. They just feel a sense of like a longing for a place that's not really on Earth. And the thing is that I don't really sense that the isolation, although some of you may have felt before at times if you are a starseed, and some of you are going to know already what that is, a sense of loneliness or isolation. Regardless whether starseed or not, I definitely feel like there's an element of having a lot of talents and really headed someplace. You guys are really headed someplace. That's my vibe. And you're headed there, but whether it's, when I say, and everybody has a different definition of success, right? So when I say headed someplace, you may be headed to a spiritual, on a spiritual, very strong spiritual journey, like I said, getting to kind of another new level. And others may be literally going to a place that just resonates very much with them. Some of you may be visiting some spiritual landscapes, maybe some places in Utah, some places in Arizona. I feel like Sedona, something like that. I'm seeing like canyons and things like that. So like red canyons. Some of you are going to be doing hiking there. Some of you are going to be kind of doing some kind of journey there. I just feel like it's a very strong vibe about, to me, traveling, but traveling to specific places that resonate with you, kind of like your own Mecca. Like some of you may be doing like some kind of spiritual pilgrimage or going to a place that has some spiritual significance also. I definitely feel that. Now, the Queen of Pentacles to me feels very much like, Taurus females or gay Taurus males. You're very much in your element, middle of May, okay? You're there. I feel like all is well, actually, and all is going to be well. The thing about the Queen of Pentacles that I like is that she's a fully developed being. She's fully grown in a sense. She's matured. So there is an element of maturity here, which I like to see for you, Taurus, whether you're a guy or girl, okay? Taurus guys, I feel like the thing that I want to say, because you have the King of Pentacles in the center, the King of Wands in the center, which I do see being a lot of times as a Taurus male, who's a little bit, who's got a lot of fire in their chart. You see these antlers. I definitely see this as a Taurus male. I have seen it many times in readings. Taurus Leo, Taurus Sag, and Taurus, oh my God, what's the other fire sign? Taurus Leo, Taurus Sag, Taurus Aries, sorry. When I'm channeling, I get really stuck sometimes. But sometimes, Taurus can tend to overdo it. It's almost like Taurus doesn't, I feel like the King of Wands still has an energy, the residual energy from their shadow Scorpio, okay? And that shadow Scorpio is very transformative. Scorpio is a very transformative sign. And that energy is actually kind of propels them to have like, not a nervous energy, sometimes an anxiety, but it's more of like overaction, overdoing it. Whereas in this life, it's okay. Taurus needs to like slow down, and Taurus can move very slowly. Some Tauruses can, but to me, this is like residual energy from, and some of you may have Scorpio in your chart too, but residual energy of that Scorpio experience karmically. Okay, so it's like, you still have residual Scorpio energy that's like, that's kind of propelling you. And you may just have a lot of energy in general. Like the King of Wands to me, as I see, he has a lot of energy. I'm seeing a lot of energy in his back specifically. Taurus can have a lot of energy in their back and spine. Some of you may actually be like lifters or working on lifting weights, bodybuilders. I definitely see this card as being someone who's incredibly physically fit and strong, okay? So guys, I definitely see like that's you. Now, if you're a Taurus and you're like, that doesn't describe you, don't worry. It just means that like I'm seeing this for someone, I'm reading this for someone who does have those qualities. Some of you ladies may be interested in this King of Wands. I definitely feel like some of them, I feel like if you're interested in a Taurus and you're watching your another sign, you know, the Two of Swords is what's in the center, which means there's something about being, you know, not really wanting what is offered. Okay, so people may be contacting you and you might not be able to be available. Taurus can be that person where you reach out to them and you don't hear back for months. You know, ladies, if you're dealing with a Taurus guy, or, you know, a guy that has, you know, you may be a Taurus and, you know, he may have some fire in his chart. You know, I feel like you're dealing with someone maybe who you're no longer speaking to, or it's been a while since you were in communication, or you did try to reach out to them and they're not communicating. I feel like there's some level of non-communication here. Non-communication with a Taurus or with another sign that you're interested in. I feel like that's very strong. I feel like some of you really need to let go of an individual too. Some of you, you know, you've got the Four of Pentacles as the foundation. I feel like the element of letting go can be very challenging for Taurus. Some of you may be having a difficult time letting go of like an ex-partner. You know, could be ex-wife, ex-husband. To me, there's an element of trying to let go of them or trying to move on from them. I hate to say this, because the only thing I'm going to say here is that the Eight of Cups can also, going back to this Eight of Cups, mean someone passing away, because she's moving up out of that cycle. So I feel like for some of you, it's a partner or someone that has passed away. I feel like it's someone that you were married to. For those of you Tauruses, I feel like someone you were married to is going to pass away. That's the thing that I'm saying. I feel like it's a marriage. I also feel like some of you are, you know, conversely, like heading out of a time where you're no longer involved with that person, and it's kind of a good thing. I actually want to encourage you that if you know, were married to someone, I wouldn't encourage you getting back with them. You might try to get back with them, but I wouldn't encourage you to do so. There may be some element of wanting to get back with them, but I just feel like there's someone in a relationship that was in a relationship where either they passed away or they're going to pass away. And this to me is a husband and wife. If you're not, you know, you're not married and you're single or you're dating someone, this does not apply to you, I don't feel. For those of you who are dating and, you know, maybe just single ladies, single guys, I feel like it's kind of been rough for you. I want to say, to me, it just feels really rough. It feels like kind of rough financially, rough emotionally, because, you know, this Four of Pentacles doesn't indicate, you know, watching every penny that you have and, you know, really being kind of a slave to money. I definitely see that happening here. Emotionally, it's rough. You got the Four of Cups. So to me, it's like, you know, especially for ladies, single ladies, this is like not only being like, I want to say impoverished or financially strapped. I feel like there's an element of, you know, trying, you know, maybe texting people or trying to connect, but again, nothing really solidifies. So it's sort of like you've maybe tried to date, or you've tried to text, or you've tried to like communicate with other people, and you feel like maybe a sense that like nothing's really working, you know, with relationships. I definitely feel, though, some of you are, and this is going to sound very strange, stuck in the past. You're stuck in the past where it was hard. It's no longer, it doesn't have to, I don't feel like it's going to be hard. I feel like it's only hard if you're still stuck in the past. If you're stuck dealing with the same old. If if you are transforming your life, which is part of the Taurus experience, because they have to adapt that Scorpio shadow energy of transformation. They do have to make changes in their life. I feel like if you kind of adapt and make the change, I feel like things will go well. I feel like if you are clinging onto a person, maybe it's a relationship, because we have that Four of Pentacles as the foundation, I definitely feel like it's gonna come to a head where I feel like you do have to let go. I feel like that. Yeah, I feel like because you have this Eight of Cups there, it tells me that you have the ability to let go. You just don't want to let go. You have the ability to transform your life, guys included. Guys, you can do it. You can transform your life. But I don't feel like it's not going to be easy. And the reason maybe you haven't transformed it is because you don't want to make the sacrifices. You don't really want to change anything. And my guide said you're learning what's most important. And I want to look at one of my cards here in my own deck that I made. Talks about these 2 lessons in life, and I feel like that's where you're at. There's 2 lessons in life. Let me see if I can find it. There's more than 2 lessons, but that's what I see here. Take me a second. I'm going to pause my video so you don't have to wait for me. Hang on just a minute. Okay, so the card is about these lessons, I should say. It's hard for me to talk. These lessons came at a very high price. I learned these the hard way. Okay, so lesson number 1. By experiencing poverty, loss, financial setbacks, you learn what real abundance is. Okay, so that's lesson number 1. And number 2, by experiencing great wealth, financial gain, or healthy cash flow and savings, you learn what's most important. So essentially, when you don't have any money, you realize real abundance doesn't have anything to do with money at all. Because you can find ways to be happy without money. And you are really understanding that finances aren't, and this is going to be really hard for Taurus, what, rule your life. If you aren't a slave. If you are a slave and you're in the slave mentality and you put money first before everything else, then learning this lesson is going to be very painful, because the universe will just send you less and less opportunities, more and more poverty, more and more loss, more and more financial setbacks, until you learn that real abundance doesn't have anything to do with money at all. It just doesn't. And you can have so much abundance because the abundance comes from within. Abundance is from within. So people can have a lot of abundance inside of them and experiencing a lot of hardships and financial setbacks, but not really know how to really get to a place where they overcome their programming, understanding finances as programming, slave mentality as programming. And I do want to say, I'm interjecting this right here because we have the overlords of the planet trying to manipulate everybody and really tighten the noose as far as our financial prosperity. And we don't have to let them. And we don't have to buy into slave mentality anymore. We don't have to be impoverished anymore. We can understand that we can have as much as we want as far as abundance and finances. Abundance and finances a lot of times are confused, okay? Abundance isn't just having like a house in the 3-car garage and a swimming pool and 5 Ferraris. That's not abundance. Abundance, yes, can be those things, But abundance is an understanding of what really matters and expressing those values and things that you have inside of you to the world. What are your gifts? What are your talents? And what are your ideas? What is it that you have to offer? Abundance is sometimes feeling good, just feeling really good. There's a lot of definitions of what abundance is and isn't, so is and is not. So I just want to challenge you. This is to me a big challenge for you, overcoming a mindset of scarcity and poverty. And you can get sucked back in like that because of our commercial capitalist society. Don't let it suck you in. Like, that's what I want to say right now. Please, like, this is a time where if you've learned what real abundance is for you, then you don't have to buy into it anymore. You don't have to believe anymore that all you are is a job, or, lose your ego into your work. Some people do. They lose their ego. And I feel like I'm reading for someone who has lost their ego in their job. Maybe they've had their job for a really long time, and that's all that they quote unquote have. And that's not all that they are. And that's not all that you are. Okay. I just want to say that. And then essentially the opposite is when you have money. This was lesson number 2. When you have money, you realize, you can have a lot of money. You realize that all maybe you really want is a hug from someone, or to have a great romantic experience, or to have a hot night of passionate sex, or to just, go swimming in a lake somewhere, you know what I mean? Or travel to Italy and, look at some really beautiful paintings. I mean, it has nothing to do with the money itself. What's most important to you too, a lot of times family is very important to people, friends are very important to people, and a lot of times there can be very wealthy individuals who are kind of, I want to say the word ostracized, but like they don't know who they can trust anymore because they don't know, because the people around them are only really interested in their money. Or that's the draw. That's the thing, So it's hard to know when you're very wealthy what, if somebody really is interested in you, and that's part of it, But really understanding what's most important. You can have all the money in the world, but then your cat can die and be totally devastated, and that cat might have been the most important thing in the world to you, and you could have nothing, or you could have $1 million, and it wouldn't matter. That cat. Yeah, I'm just making an example. That cat meant everything to you. So that is just like, I really hope that these messages are hitting home. That is one of the messages that really wants to come through here. This video is quite long, so I am going to end here. I think I've touched upon a lot of things. I definitely want to say that you can overcome this thing about waiting for things to happen, being in a place of when is it going to happen for me, by making things happen. So Taurus, go get it. Try to take a little bit of a breather or a rest, especially if you're a Taurus guy. Don't overdo it. And I think that's all for now. Thank you guys so much. I send everyone big hugs, big kisses. And I will talk to you guys again soon. All right, take care.